What's up, RPG fans? Welcome to episode 17 of the Switchrpg podcast. I am one of your hosts, Philip, and as always, I'm joined by the man from the Northeast, Gio. What's up, man?
The man from the Northeast. You act like I'm like, I don't even know. I'm not that far away.
The man from Brooklyn.
I'm not. No.
It's all the same thing up there. Anyway, if this is your first time listening, ladies and gentlemen, this is the show from Switchrpg.com that brings you exciting news, upcoming game releases, and all the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch platform. This week, we're talking about more Nintendo partnerships with Xbox, Dream Switch collections, and why we play RPGs. Let's get the show started. We have no housekeeping this week, so we can jump right on into the news.
The news. The news. So first up from NintendoEverything.com, we've got that Forever Entertainment reveals several upcoming projects, and I may be going in reverse order than you had it on the list. I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
But anyway, so Forever Entertainment, like I said, has unveiled their upcoming slate. This is 6 games that are in the pipeline, including Hollow 2, Rise Eterna, Plague in Us, Sparkle 4, Shimmering Lagoon, and The Mansion. Now, I am not familiar with this studio or any of these titles. This was all sort of news to me. Were you familiar with any of these before?
I'm not, but they kind of interested me. Like Rise Eterna looks really interesting. It's a tactical RPG, but it's kind of a blend between I don't want to say Banner Saga because I know your head will explode.
It's tactical. It's tactical.
Yeah, it's a tactical, and it almost has that 8-bit 2D HD thing that they're trying to do. It's a little different. But out of all of them, I mean, for as far as RPGs are concerned, that one looked the most interesting. Now there was a simulator RPG in there, and I think there was it Plague in Us?
Yeah, Plague in Us looked really interesting to me.
Yeah. It was kind of dark. It had that Darkest Dungeon kind of feel there. And actually, Hollow. I don't know if you played Hollow, the first Hollow. It was okay. And I can't wait to really see what they have in the second one. But it's kind of, it's a more of survival horror type of deal. But yeah, it's just they did it all in one shot. Here's everything we got.
That's kind of like a Marvel. It's like, here's our stage 4 or whatever.
Right. Well, actually, DC did that over at San Diego Comic-Con. They're really trying to sell their streaming service, so they just here's everything, blah, and that's what it felt like.
And everybody else was like, all right, next panel.
Basically.
So now I guess I'm assuming all of these games are coming to the Switch.
Yes.
I know it says that Hollow 2 is coming first. I guess they've got some sort of timed exclusivity deal. But yeah, no, this is cool. And it seems like, and we kind of touched on this, but each game is slightly different. This isn't like 6 games that, this looks like a variation on another. Completely different art styles, completely different tones and aesthetics. So I think that's pretty cool.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Some variety in your RPGs coming to the Switch, which is always a good thing. All right, next up, we've got NintendoLife.com writing that Digimon Survive officially confirmed for a 2019 Western release on Switch. Bandai Namco has confirmed that Digimon Survive will be coming to Switch. It is an upcoming adventure/tactical RPG releasing next year to celebrate the 20th year anniversary of the Digimon anime. Something I have never watched personally.
I myself have never watched it. I've never played the other games as well. This one looks dark. It had like almost like a darker, more serious tone. Not necessarily dark, but more of a serious tone. I don't know. I'm not sure if you watched the trailer. It just felt like it had like a story, which I
Mhm.
really wouldn't expect in some sort of Digimon or, Pokemon or worlds.
And
But
is this some sort of survival? Is it yeah, like a tactical survival game or something?
yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Cool.
But it looks cool if you can find the trailer out there. It the art style, the cutscene style slash art style looks really kind of cool.
Oh,
It does.
awesome. I ever the sort of the internet has been buzzing about it today. And today is Monday the 30th. And yeah, like I said before, I'm excited when people are excited. So
Yeah,
I
yeah. It's been a while for Digimon, so
okay, cool. And to kind of go along with this, the sort of semi-popular Twitter user Stealth, he tweeted sort of about this earlier. I thought this was a very interesting tweet. He was saying that the 2019 JRPG outlook for the Switch is so far Digimon Survive, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Gen 8 Pokemon, Dragon Quest 11, and Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's a pretty strong RPG lineup right there for next year.
it definitely is. I feel though some of them may not be coming 2019.
Oh, you think they're going to be pushed
I
to
think
2020?
Dragon Quest is gonna get pushed
Oh, wow.
again.
Way
Yeah,
to be a
that
bummer, man.
I'm sorry. And to be honest, maybe Shin Megami Tensei as well.
That's the one that concerns me because we haven't heard anything about it. At least with Dragon Quest 11,
Mhm.
there like it's coming to other stuff soon. We kind of know about it, but I
Right.
mean, what do we even really know about Shin Megami Tensei 5 except that
We
it's going to be on the Switch?
we know nothing other than that. It was a brief kind of teaser trailer, and that's all we had.
Yeah, that's the one
I
that
mean,
concerns me.
yeah, definitely. And she I don't know, Stealth was really kind of excited for that. I feel like I want more. I don't know what it is. I think 2019 is a little too soon to want more, but I kind of want more. And it doesn't have to be for me anyways to satisfy me. It doesn't need to be some big blockbuster like Octopath or anything like that. I would be fine with an indie title that can provide a good story that I can play, 20, 30 hours in. It doesn't need to be some big, robust AAA title for me.
Well,
And
I
I
mean,
would be perfectly happy
and
with
I
that.
think that's the thing too is that usually though the ones that are forecasting out are
Mhm.
sort of the bigger titles. So I think we will probably get there. I mean, I think we're going to have a strong second half of 2018. And it feels weird already talking 2019, but I think you're going to get into those situations where you have those like battle chasers. I mean, you were huge on battle chasers,
Right.
and that wasn't necessarily a game that had a long, uh, you media blitz leading up to it because
Right.
it's not triple A. So
Yeah, and again, that's all I need. I don't need those bigger games. I mean, they're awesome, but
do you think that Pokemon Gen 8 Pokemon is going to fulfill that big blockbuster RPG for 2019?
no.
You don't think so?
I, no, I mean,
Just
no,
just
because
like from the like the
it
philosophy of Pokemon, it just doesn't fit.
I think no, I think it's gonna satisfy the Pokemon fans. It's not gonna satisfy the JRPG fans, in my opinion, because it really, and again, in my opinion, Pokemon doesn't necessarily have the greatest story. It's the same, and maybe they're gonna do something different. They could possibly do something different, but Pokemon is not known for the greatest
Sure.
storytelling. You know, um, and it's a generally the same. It's been the same play style, and I say this all the time. It's been the same thing throughout its lifetime again, in my opinion. And is that enough to satisfy these JRPG fans? I don't know, because I think JRPG fans, they like that storytelling, and you're really not gonna.
get that from Pokemon. Oh,
Yeah,
because in my head, because I'm trying to figure out, because it seems like the past 2 years, I mean, since the Switch has been around, that we have sort of had a big sort of JRPG success. I mean, the first year, it was late in the year, but I mean, a lot of people loved Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This year, obviously, the story has been Octopath Traveler. So, do we have sort of a title in the works that could be sort of that big blockbuster for next year as well?
Yeah.
Maybe Fire Emblem. I know.
Yeah, but that's got a niche audience though, and I feel like it's the same way with Pokemon too. I mean, Pokemon, the audience is massive, but I think it's just really going to satisfy Pokemon fans. That's just my opinion.
Pokemon might be it might be next year's Fortnite or something, man.
It could be.
It could be someone's Fortnite, which would be great for the Switch.
Yeah.
Fortnite's been great for the Switch. All right, so next up we got another partnership, and this one's a very interesting one, but another partnership between Switch and Xbox One. They keep on coming. Survive together, you know? Hashtag survive together. NintendoEverything.com is reporting that the Switch and Xbox One versions of RPG Maker MV will be compatible. The RPG Maker MV was announced for Switch earlier, and it will be launching in November. And upon release, it will be releasing on other platforms like Xbox One, and these two platforms will be compatible with each other. So if you create something on the Switch, you will be able to access it on the Xbox. Not necessarily something I'm going to be taking advantage of, but
right.
I'm guessing this will be good for collaborative ventures. I don't know if that means that you could share your in progress creation with a friend who may be helping you create something, or you want to like play test it, and you'll just be able to share it with them, and they will be able to access it on Xbox. I don't know if it has to be tied to your Xbox Live account or whatever it's called. Xbox.
Or will there be some sort of giant library of all these created games? You know, if I put my game into this massive library, and now Xbox users and Nintendo users can, kind of similar to what Mario Maker did. You know, you can kind of play everyone's kind of games and levels. Is it on that? Is it that set up that way? I'm not entirely sure, but we just know that there's some integration here, so it's a possibility.
And I think the bigger thing is, and it seems like every time we do have a story coming out about Switch and Xbox, for me, it's not necessarily how much I'm going to use whatever it is the story is. I think it's just the further, intertanglement of these two companies, and I think it's neat because I mean we've had situations where platforms and companies are obviously behind in the quote unquote console war, console race, or whatever, but we've never seen this, I would say, this level of collaboration between two rivaling companies. I think it's unprecedented. I think it's always interesting. So
it's a step in a very different and unknown, different direction, unknown territory kind of, and it's got one focus in mind. It's the people playing the games. Obviously there's money behind that, but but they got our interest in mind. So that's really, really what it's all about.
Yeah. Supposedly they want us to play together. That's what they're trying to tell us. All right, and last up from NintendoLife.com, we've got confirmation that co-op action RPG Warlocks 2 Godslayers. Yeah. Okay, the article title mixed me up. Yeah, but it's coming to Switch this October. So for this one, you'd mentioned before the episode that this was going to get drowned out in October, and I totally agree. But in terms of co-op experiences on the Switch, I think it's always great to get new ones. To have a co-op RPG, I think is really cool,
right?
Because off the top of my head, I can't really think of too many co-op ones. So I really like this. I was playing, it's not an RPG, but I was playing Hyrule Warriors with a buddy the other day. And it's just really fun to sit down, with a friend and hack and slash through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's kind of what this is with sort of some heavier RPG elements, I'm going to be all for it. The descriptions of this game sound hilarious and just wacky.
Right.
So like I said, the Nintendo Life article here, just give you a little taste. It says the game is described as a 2D cooperative action RPG, which combines a retro aesthetic with fresh hack and slash mechanics, where players can choose from 5 bonkers playable warlocks, including a crazed goat riding a dwarf centaur, or a tech-savvy e-witch who casts spells from her smartphone. And they join forces with up to 3 friends via local or online co-op. So the addition of the online is really cool. And taking on the vile gods hellbent on raining chaos throughout the multiverse. And it features over 120 equipable items and more than 45 different abilities, such as shooting selfies, turning enemies into frogs, and summoning hordes of skeletons, ghosts, and demons, and 100 upgrades to unlock. So it sounds like just a off-the-wall good time, which adds to the fun of co-op when you're just sitting there and you're laughing as much about the experience as you are actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
So now they just got to deliver.
Yeah, I hope so. It sounds really, really cool. I didn't get to, you kind of mentioned this to me before, and I kind of remember watching the trailer, but I just don't remember off the top of my head, but it just sounds interesting. And, I hope they deliver on the comedic kind of portion of it. I'd like to watch a trailer now, but I can't.
Yeah, you got to go find your iPad.
I got my phone.
And that's going to wrap up the news. So now let's move on to talking about what we've been playing this week. Gio, have you had any more game time this week than you did last week, since you were gone on vacation?
Yes, I was gone on my vacation, and then, I get home, and all of a sudden it's my son's birthday party that I got to plan for and everything. So, it's still kind of busy, but I did get to play. I didn't get to play any Octopath.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get to do any of that, but I did get to play Hand of Fate 2. And I'm kind of doing a Let's Play series for the website here, and you can find it on YouTube, and it's really kind of interesting. This game, it's got your action element, it's got your kind of tabletop element, and it has your kind of just what's the word I'm looking for, where you're just reading it and you just kind of go through these things. I forget what kind of RPG you want to call it, almost like pen and paper basically, but it's really cool. It's really interesting, and I'm really having a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. The episode that you got up right now is great. Do you know when the next episode goes live?
It will be, we're recording this on Monday, probably won't come out until Wednesday-ish, okay. Maybe. So Tuesday. I'm going to try for Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah, I'll try doing bi-weekly releases.
Oh, cool.
But if there are any suggestions out there on what other games people would like to see, I'd be more than happy to give it a shot.
Yeah, because we've been talking about me jumping in at some point with a game for a Let's Play. So that's going to be really fun. Yeah, and remember, you can check that out at youtube.switchrpg.com. So
yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So for me this week, I have been doing... I was supposed to jump into Banner Saga, but some stuff came up, so I wasn't able to jump into Banner Saga 3. But that is slated for this week, and then my review will be coming after that. I got into Octopath a little bit, but like I said, stuff came up, so not much gaming this week. Now, I did play a little bit of a game that I will be talking about on everybody's favorite podcast, Oldest is Goldest. Another week, but
not this week.
Not this week. I will go ahead and say that I've been playing Tales of Fantasia, the very first Tales of game. and I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
Real quick, speaking of oldest is goldest, had one of the users on the Discord send a correction. It was a very good correction. Denios on the Discord reminded me that Dragon Quest 1 did not release, the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 did not release on the GBA. It was on the Game Boy Color. So if you go out looking for that, you're not going to find it on GBA. So good stuff. Good stuff. So, yeah, not very light playing this week, but hopefully this weekend it's going to be, I think I've got a car ride coming up sometime this weekend. So kind of an extended
the Switch. Nice.
A car ride, not a car drive.
Although
that'd be great.
Yes.
If Elon Musk can ever get us self-driving cars, just think about how much Switch time we're going to have.
They should bundle it. They should have a Switch bundle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Self-driving Tesla with a Switch. That's great.
Let's make it happen.
All right. Let's look at the sales and releases that we got upcoming. I just want to remind you guys that the sales and releases each week are brought to you by Switch List, the iPhone and Android app designed to help you keep your gaming life organized. I know for me, the Switch eShop kind of seems like a mess at times, and whenever I want to find stuff very quickly, or I just want information on a certain game, the eShop isn't really the easiest, most intuitive place to go. So that's where Switch List can come in. Yeah, kind of bumpy. So the Switch List can come in and makes it a breeze to find exactly what you want in a few finger swipes. You can search, sort, and scroll through only what you want to see. Switch List, organize the clutter in your eShop life. This week in sales, we've got Fear Effect Setback for $11.99. That's 40% off. That game was super mixed reviews, but I always thought it looked interesting, and I was really upset whenever it got really poor reviews.
I played the first one for PlayStation, and actually the first two for PlayStation, and this one just looks very different. Mm-hmm. Again, it has those mixed reviews. I would say more poor than mixed, but yeah.
True. 9 Parchments is 60% off at $7.99. Speaking of co-op Switch RPGs, that's 9 Parchments is one of those. One More Dungeon for $5.99. Plague Road, whatever this game is $1 right now. Quest of Dungeons for $5.39. The Escapists 2 for $11.99. Unexplored for $13.50. And Wizard of Legend for $14.39. And all of these prices are USD. I apologize for those who are outside the US listening to this. That's just what I have in front of me always, since I'm logged in on my account. So, as far as releases go, we've got Titan Quest and Code of Princess X releasing on the 31st. So when you're listening to this, that will have been yesterday.
And I think those are both co-op RPGs.
Are they really?
Yeah, Titan Quest, I believe is, and I think Code of Princess EX?
Yeah. Code of Princess. Okay. And we do have a review of Code of Princess X on the site live as of Monday. Really passionate gamer / Evan is the one who reviewed it for us. So he did a great job and really insightful review. So if you're interested in that game, it was also out on 3DS. If you've known about it and you're interested in it, go check out the review before you make that purchase. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to hear from you. Remember, we are all about community here at the Switchrpg podcast. So if you want to be part of the show, remember, you can always be part by emailing your questions to podcast@switchrpg.com. Or you can dive into our Discord server at discord.switchrpg.com and post in our podcast channel. Side note, we've got something in the pipes for questions that is going to blow your minds. It's going to be amazing. Straight from the mind of video game journalist, professional video game journalist, Gio Pimento, straight into the screens of your technology. Geo.
It was our idea. I don't want to take full. Although I'd love to take full credit for it, but it was.
I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you full credit.
I don't want it. Right?
Gio, let's check the notice board for listener questions.
Sure.
Do you have those pulled up on your phone?
I do.
You don't have like a flip phone, do you?
All right, I'm not gonna use my phone then. Fine. It works just fine. Okay. Yeah, I'll read this one. I'm gonna go out of order.
Okay.
All right. So this one's from Captain Vulgar. On our Discord. What would y'all's dream collection on the Switch be? Can be one mega collection or segmented. Can also be a franchise. Yeah. So
any franchise.
That's kind of it's kind of dangerous. Okay. I'll let you handle this one.
Okay.
First.
So if you've listened to the podcast at all, this won't be a surprise to you. But let's
not do Dragon Age. Let's not do Secret of Mana. Let's just avoid those altogether.
Okay, first of all, I would never say Dragon Age because that is a horrible experience on console. So I would not. I would not put that on anybody.
All right. I gotcha.
Would be a great experience on console because it's already on consoles, but on Switch on the go would be Kingdom Hearts collection. People would literally lose their minds over this. They do have the collection coming out with all the games that they've remastered up to this point. It's coming out to PS4 before Kingdom Hearts 3. So I mean, putting this out would be huge. If we're looking at next year and you're saying, okay, well, RPG landscape is kind of whatever, Kingdom Hearts isn't necessarily the strongest RPG, but it does have levels. It does have character progression. It does have equipment progression. It does have XP and grinding and magic and skills and setting up your party members. So there are some RPG elements there, and it's really, really fun action game. So if you're looking at the RPG landscape and you're saying next year, I think releasing a Kingdom Hearts collection sometime, like maybe in the summer of next year, would be really, really cool. Like an E3 drop or something, or at least like an E3 announcement, and then say like Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming next Christmas or something to the Switch. That'd be so huge and so cool. And I think that would just do bonkers. So that's going to be my first thing is Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is like, it's everywhere. Like, it just makes sense. Why not us?
Well, right? and it has a history on specifically Nintendo handhelds. So, I mean, there's been several games come out on Nintendo handhelds throughout the history. The second game ever created in the series was on a Nintendo handheld. After my GBA/GBC debacle last week, I'm not going to try to guess what Chain of Memories was. Somebody let me know what was Chain of Memories on. But then you had a couple of others. You had Dream Drop Distance, which is one of the most recent games, was on Nintendo handheld, one of the DSs, I believe. So 3DS makes a lot of sense. So the history is there. It's a really good game. The aesthetic would be great. It could be the characters could be in Smash. It would be the perfect marriage.
You're calling it characters in Smash. You heard it here first.
heard it here first. That's gonna be my first choice. What's yours?
Your first choice. You have multiple.
Oh, we got multiple. He said indie franchise. I'm not just going with that.
You're in it to win it. Wow. All right. For me, I would love to see Mass Effect on the Switch.
Oh, great.
And not Andromeda. We can just forget that one.
That doesn't count.
Just forget that one ever existed. Okay. Yeah, give me a Mass Effect game. Now, I've played a lot of Mass Effect, and having this again, it's just perfect. Having a game like that on the go is it's a marriage made in heaven. Just let me play Commander Shepard, just be out there, and it would be perfect.
So that is a game series that works on console. That's that's BioWare working really well on console, whereas Dragon Age just really doesn't, in my opinion. What little I have played of Mass Effect and seen of Mass Effect, I think that is really smart. That is really smart. Would you want some sort of remaster, or you want just straight up, just give me like Mass Effect 1's horrible shooting and combat?
No. If you could somehow remaster it, I mean, improvements are always appreciated, and I think there is room for improvement in all of them. It would be much appreciated. So a remaster or reworking, not some sort of direct port that we couldn't handle that. But yeah, just give it to me on the go.
Okay, so for my second choice, I am going over to the other big game studio with Bethesda. I would love to see Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4
Yeah.
as, whether it's 3 separate, whatever, or if you give me one big collection with those in there. Maybe touch the shooting of 3 a little bit,
Okay.
but kind of modernize a little bit, because I mean you can't even do like iron sights in 3. You can't like look down the barrel. So I mean, just like maybe give us a few of those modern conveniences, but like 3, because I've never experienced 3 or New Vegas. I've played probably 5 hours of 3, which means for a Bethesda game I've not played it at all.
Literally nothing.
And I have installed New Vegas, but I've not played it. But I know a lot of people love New Vegas, maybe even more than 3.
Yep.
So, and I really enjoyed 4. Would love to play it,
Yeah, I don't know that we ever be able to, like, I don't think the Switch would be able to handle 4. I don't know. I think it definitely could handle New Vegas and 3, and I would love to see. My favorite is 3 out of the entire series, and I don't mind so much the combat, because literally the entire time you're in VATS. You're stopping, and you're attacking that way. So again, being able to aim down sights it would be a good modern convenience, like you said. But for the most part, you're in VATS, you're handling combat that way. But I put a lot of time into that game, a lot of time. Um, I have a whole shelf, a entire shelf of Fallout, and I'm ashamed I didn't mention that. I'm sorry, Bethesda.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Do you have another one?
Do I have another one? Dark Souls? Why not?
Okay.
You're giving me number one. Give me the rest. Let's finish it up. Let's do it.
Finish strong. What about Metal Gear Solid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would take, let's abandon the NES version. Okay. Let's just forget that one ever existed. Let's go Metal Gear Solid. Let's go Twin Snakes, Solid Snake, Snake Eater, all those. Yeah. Even if you could do 5.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be really good. Metal Gear. Sure. I'd love that. I would buy that. Would Konami do that? No. Konami would never do that, because Konami is a dum-dum. They are stupid.
Yeah. And then finally, I mean, some more obvious ones. I would love some sort of Final Fantasy collection. Obviously, we talked about this. I think it was last week, because we talked about when Square going to port stuff. I mean, I think you could see a 10, 12 type deal. I would love to see like 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, anything Final Fantasy. Bring Chrono Trigger over. Bring Mana, so Geo can cry happy tears.
Oh, they would fill up an ocean.
And then look, the Tales coming later this year. I think that's fantastic. Bring that over. For all of my brothers and sisters out there that love the Legend of Heroes series, that is probably, like, outside of Tales, that is the series that I want to experience the most. Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, bring those over. If Trails in the Sky, if the moment that gets announced, I'm pre-ordering it. The moment I can play it, I'm playing all the way through it, because I've played probably 8 hours on the PC. I'm just not going to sit in front of the PC that long. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And I just think that game would be fantastic.
Yeah, you could say that a lot for those series, like you said, the Tales of series, the Mana series, the Final Fantasy series, the Pokemon series,
The old Pokemans.
yeah, Pokemans. With the core RPG, Pokemon core RPG is what we're calling it. With that coming out, there's absolutely no way that they would be doing that. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be, a lot of people would like that. And who knows with this online service what that's really going to bring. It was still not even clear on that. But I have a feeling, Phil, that we're going to be hearing something soon about our online.
Oh, maybe like next week soon?
Next week, maybe 2, but maybe next week. I'm feeling.
There are
I'm
those
hearing a lot of
rumblings.
stuff.
There are those
Yeah.
rumblings of everyone's favorite word,
Yeah.
the direct.
I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll have to wait and see. And that would be the opportunity for Nintendo to really kind of clarify things for its online service. I don't feel like they're doing a good enough job to lay it all out there.
Yeah, because isn't really the only thing we've gotten about it was like snuck in at like 9 o'clock at night because it was right before we recorded it on a Monday or something.
Yep.
And that's like basically it. It was just detailing what you're going to get. And so I think seeing that in some video form, seeing some confirmations, some explanations, some
Right.
Yeah.
You want people to pony up, $20. Is it $20?
I think it's 20 a year ish.
20 a year, yeah. So I mean, you're not breaking the bank, but you're still trying to get money out of people's pockets, and they need a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I think it was like $7.99 for 3 months. So that would be right at 20 something, and then you might get that couple dollar break for the whole year. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Second question from Captain Vulgar is he wants to know what y'all want to see from an N64 classic. He says it's the greatest of all consoles, greater even than the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Now,
maybe that's why his tweet was blocked for me.
It could have been why it's
blasphemies like
and
that.
And I also don't think any of that was in there. I think you're a liar. All right, so N64 Classic, let's just not have it happen. Now, let's be honest, okay? Everyone out there, let's be honest. The N64, there's probably maybe 5 to 10 games on there that are good. Okay?
And those are going to be the ones that will be bundled in.
Big deal. I'm not paying that.
Maybe that's what the N64 Classic is, to rewrite history and just say these are the only games that were ever released for it.
It has like the smallest library because it was the poorest library. It was not. The controller is terrible. Like I would never want to play that ever. Like no, throw it away. Don't do it.
I'm just glad that it didn't take us long to figure out that a joystick in the middle of the controller was not a good idea.
Like you totally need a third hand to play that controller.
Yes. I have seen some amazing / very weird ways to hold that controller just to hit all the buttons.
It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. The N64 to me is the bane of my existence.
Wow. He took it personal.
Worst. Oh, it's like you got Virtual Boy, and then you have the N64. It's like those are the worst consoles for Nintendo. It's terrible, 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 terrible. I'm not a fan. I mean, I have some favorites in there. Like you got your Zelda games. You have I don't know. Some people like the Pokemon games in there, but
there's Pokemon. I didn't even know there was Pokemon for
N64. It's like Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Snap. So they're not even real Pokemon games. You guys got gypped on that.
And it was the N64's fault too.
And there's some people like some Harvest Moon on. I'm just kind of trying to find some RPGs on there. Harvest Moon, people, kind of like, I guess. It's not for me. It's just not for me.
So other things, I mean, like you said, you would obviously have both of the Zeldas on there.
Yeah.
You would have GoldenEye, right? I mean, like, I know I played GoldenEye on that. Like,
Right. And here's
you
the
know,
thing. Here's the thing with GoldenEye, right?
it's awful.
It's not that it's just awful.
It
It's the most
is.
repetitive thing. It's like Halo was good, with the see GoldenEye was only good co-op, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
People screen cheating, all that. It was fun. Now you could bring in a mechanic where it's online, which would kind of be cool. But those maps are so tiny, and I don't know. It's just, oh my god, they're so boring. It's such a boring GoldenEye. I think it's more nostalgic. That game is incredibly boring.
Do you think was it an element of 3D? Like it was such a novelty. And
It was in its infancy.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, and that's definitely what it was. We went from Super Nintendo, which is it's 2D environment, and then we went to that. That was like,
so I mean, like people's nostalgia.
that's what they're hitting. I guess they're hitting on, but I mean,
Hey, I love me some Super Mario 64 though.
no,
You don't like Super Mario 64?
I don't know.
What?
I don't. I really don't.
What?
I don't like it. And going back to GoldenEye, this like the environment is so like it's just stale.
Yeah.
Like the music, it's just it really is so boring.
But what was funny was going back and playing it after having played like Halo and Call of Duty. I mean, those didn't you have to like look around with the C buttons or something? It was crazy.
Yeah, the Halo kind of modern. I think it was Halo kind of modernized the way you look in a 3D space. And I remember reading a review or some reviews where they were kind of mocked at the way you kind of look around in that 3D space, and now it's just kind of the standard.
Yeah.
But the way GoldenEye did it, it was so so bad. And they're if they were to come out with this, they're really just hitting on nostalgia because the games are not that good.
You would obviously have Super Smash Brothers for 64. Sure.
It's so slow. It is so slow. You need like a turbo mode, and it's so slow. I'm telling you, go back and play these games. I have, and they're not what you remember. They're bad.
What I would love is if they came out with the N64 controller 2, and it looks like the N64 controller, but it has two middle sticks, so it has two joysticks. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Mario Kart 64 might be the only good game on that.
Okay, I was about to say if you had bad things to say about that.
No, it's the Zelda games and Mario Kart 64.
So Gio has 3 games coming out for the N64 Classic.
And that's it. The other ones, meh.
The other ones don't exist.
No.
All right.
And I can't be the only one who thinks that, right?
I am very interested. You know what? I'm going to ask that question on Facebook, and you guys weigh in on it too, like on Twitter and stuff, and on Discord. What are your feelings on the N64? I mean, is it one of my favorite consoles? No, but it doesn't. It's not the bane of my existence, quote unquote. So. I'm curious to hear from everybody else how they feel about it.
I think Virtual Boy is really the bane of everyone's existence, but for me personally, it's the N64. It really is.
It just really got him. It just really got him. They got him good.
And I think what I hate even more about it are the people who like it too much. Like, I don't know. Like, it's really not the greatest console, and just people are like in love with it, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just a me thing. That's okay.
To each their own.
Right, exactly.
Final question this week comes from CR Magic. What game do you have a polar opposite view on from the consensus view? For example, you hate it, but the consensus loves it, or vice versa. Well, aside from the N64, what would you say?
Oh man,
And every N64 game on the console, like Mario 64.
No. You're gonna have to give me a minute.
Okay, so for me, this actually happened extremely recently. I really enjoyed Shining Resonance Refrain, and most everybody really disliked it, pretty actively disliked it. I've seen a few instances on Twitter where people, when they like it, they really, 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 really like it. But when they don't like it, they really don't like anything about it. It's a very polarizing game. It's not the best game. I gave it a really good score. It's not like my feelings have changed on it, but it is one of those deals where I can totally see the criticisms and I can totally see where people are coming from who don't like it. I don't think it's necessarily for everyone. But that is one that I really, 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 really liked. And then I was a little surprised to see how many people absolutely disliked it. So that's one. It's a very recent example for me.
Now that game didn't demo very well, and that's kind of what I was basing my opinion on of the game, because I don't have the game. And is that what your consent, like what you found out, like people, or was it people actually played the game, or was it just
I mean, people who played the game. Yeah, I mean, reviews were very low on it, and then a lot of people who played the game just did not like it.
Interesting.
And like I said, there were some examples of people really, really, really enjoying it. I was just one of those people. We're just super minority, I believe. So
okay. I might have to bail on this question because I only play good games.
He only plays good games because he doesn't play in 64 games.
All right. Thank you. You made my point.
I'd say that, I mean, there's not a game that you like that people generally don't.
Here I am just looking at my stuff.
Think of that. That's the thing for me. I'm trying to think of kind of. I mean, I just thought of an example of games that are probably objectively poor, but I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, here's one. I don't hate Final Fantasy 13. I feel like now, if you talk about 13, there are people out there that say, yeah, it's not that bad. But I mean, if you were to, talk 8 years ago, Final Fantasy 13, absolute laughingstock of the series, and still is to this day, the butt of a lot of jokes, including my own.
I just got that game for like $2.
And it is a game that does, in fact, have many flaws, and all the criticisms about its linearity are completely valid, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of people hate the characters. I thought that the characters are really well done. I think they're well written. I think it's still a really, really, really well acted game. The voice acting in it is pretty phenomenal. In my opinion, the second and third games of that sub-series don't exist. Like they never existed in my mind. So I don't, like, if you don't like 13 because of the second and the third game, I feel for you. I pity you, because you obviously aren't able to just block those from your memory. Like,
you should be able to, right? I mean, I do it with Mass Effect. I totally don't even acknowledge Andromeda. I think a lot of people
and the last 10 minutes of 3.
Yeah, well, the last 10 minutes of 3, again, that's one of those mixed emotion, mixed opinions, I think. I didn't mind it too much. They kind of tried to fix it, but you can't base the whole series off of something like that.
For me, sticking with BioWare, Dragon Age 2, I don't think is a horrible game. It is a flawed game, people flame it though. I mean, people absolutely love to just rip that game apart, and I feel like a lot of its flaws and its complications were not really the fault of the developer. There was a lot of publisher / time, constraints put on them, and that's what got us the product of Dragon Age 2. I still think it's an immensely fun game with a good story for what it is, but the consensus is that is a horrible game.
I'm sorry, I can't think of anything.
I'm trying to think of games that I don't like that a lot of people do. I really am. I'm trying to think of
Mario 64 is definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be yours, right? I mean,
yeah, I really did not, and it's the whole N64 thing. It's just not for me. So yeah, Mario 64 is definitely I could really care less about. I mean, I love Silent Hill, so there's got to be some Silent Hill games that I absolutely love that people
that were probably bad.
Yeah, like I can think of
a blind spot for them. Yeah,
Silent Hill Homecoming, when I initially played it, was not that great, but I kind of went back and played it again. It's not terrible, but I do like it, but the consensus is not that great. So yeah, maybe Silent Hill Homecoming. Yeah.
I just can't. Yeah. I'm trying to think of my Steam library too, and nothing's really coming to me. I mean, I know that I've got them, but I did give you some really good ones that I liked that a lot of people hate. So I would love to hear if anybody else is on my side. That'd be great.
No one's ever on your side.
No. All right, Gio. You know what time it is?
It is 10:30.
Oh, but aside from that.
Oh, no, I have no idea. What time is it?
It's side quest time. Cue the music.
Sorry. You cue the music.
I will, in fact, be cueing the music. That is very accurate. In fact, it is playing right now under my voice, and it sounds great.
It sounds beautiful.
So this week's side quest comes by way of another podcast. We appreciate them not letting us steal this, but we're going to anyway.
Yeah, they have no idea.
So, but we'll give them a shout out. That's payment. That's payment for it. It's the RPG Golden Years, which is a great podcast. I listen to like a dozen other podcasts. So RPG Golden Years is a great podcast. The premise of it is they are playing through what they consider to be the Golden Years, starting in 1989 and moving through the PS2 era. And they are attempting to play every single RPG released during that span of time, or as many as possible. So
quite ambitious.
That is very ambitious, but they've got a really good thing going. And they tweeted out this question that was, I guess, a couple days ago, and it's, why do you play RPGs? Now, Joe, you had a very interesting, thought about this tweet and the subsequent answers.
There were a lot of really good answers, and I'll read through some of them, but most of them missed on something that I think is very important in an RPG. I will save your tweet for last. Let's see here. It's fun to walk around a world totally constructed by artists, often really outstanding ones, especially if I visited that world as a kid. Stepping back in can feel like accessing a perfect memory. Let's see. Story is one of this person's favorite thing. So story, I like for it to take me on a journey that would be impossible in real life. Also, like some have mentioned, to escape reality, because let's be honest, sometimes reality stinks and games can help us cope. Life is hard and RPGs can help us escape that, even if just for a little while. And I'm not going to read all of them, but most of them, they honed in on the story. They honed in on, let's see. Actually, do you want to read what you had said?
Yeah, absolutely. So my response to that was, that I enjoy piecing the puzzle together. I love that both the story and game mechanics feel foreign and somewhat overwhelming in the beginning, all leading to the triumph and achievement when you conquer them in the end. And I feel like the genre contains some of the best storytelling in gaming.
That is certainly true. And there was one other person that did mention this, but I think for me the most important thing in an RPG, and the reason why I play them, is character development, character progression. I think that is the main thing in an RPG. Is my character can be very different than your character, and we're playing the same game. Because if you're just going to go in with story, and generally most RPGs have a decent story, or environment, things like that, you could be talking about any game. I can enjoy the music and the story of Mario 64, but it's not an RPG. So again, you can find a lot of these things in a lot of different types of games. But what's most important for me is the character development, the character progression. And this it's obviously a personal question. It's an opinion question. Why they actually play, and it is story is important in most games. It needs to make sense, I think. And I feel like those are the best games where the story is driving the entire game. But it needs to have, for me, anyways, it needs to have that character development. That's what I feel, and that's why I play RPGs.
Is for the character development, specifically games like Path of Exile.
Yes, there's a tremendous character development in that game. I didn't even mention it, and you just went out there.
I had to get your paid sponsorships in for you.
That's right. Thank you. I'll get my 10 cents in the mail.
Yeah, I mean, look, character progression, a huge thing. I mean, I think playing games like the Elder Scrolls, that's a huge series for me. That is always the thing. The games that and you're really hitting on something important, because like the RPGs that I absolutely love are also the games that I have quote unquote played more away from the game than I have actually in the game. What I mean by that is I plan out my build. I plan out, okay, what trees am I going to go down? What I'm poring over the wiki to be like, okay, well, this skill tree leads to this, to this, to this. I put all that stuff in a document. Like, I'm doing that at work instead of working. I'm doing that at school instead of studying back when I was in school. Like, the great games that I remember and that I'll always go back to do have such a heavy element of character progression. So I think you're really right. And I think that character progression is part of my answer, in that I think that RPGs are unique from other genres of games, and that the mechanics themselves many times are created to push back in the beginning, to be obtuse, to be overwhelming. And the character progression system is part of that. The level up system is part of that. The learning how to like use skills and things like that is part of those mechanics that I think that RPGs have uniquely, that action games, if you're thinking like sort of your run of the mill action game where it's active combat, but there's not really level up, right? You're not having to really learn a whole lot. You're just jumping in, you're going. Shooters are the same way. Simulators, you have to learn your own things. But to me, I feel like RPGs are uniquely capable of being very overwhelming in the beginning. I mean, I think there's a reason why RPG as a genre is not necessarily super mainstream. There is a reason for that, and it's because the barrier of entry is a little bit higher than other genres. And so that's sort of where I was coming from with mechanics. And I feel like character progression, to your point, falls right in line with that.
Sure.
Because
yeah, I think so.
you have to learn how to do this. You have to learn what skills to do, how to build out your character, things like that.
Yeah. That actually kind of reminds me, this was another side quest that I kind of wanted to sneak in here. You had mentioned when you play some RPGs, especially maybe earlier in RPGs, where you would look at a wiki or look at a build guide or whatever. That is such a modern convenience where I am so jealous of these people that are playing RPGs now, because back in my day when I was playing RPGs,
Back in his day.
back in my day, no, they had no, you had guidebooks, right? But my parents were cheap.
Yeah.
I didn't get guidebooks. Okay. So if you didn't get a guidebook and while playing RPG, you had to learn everything on your own. So for example, my my brother-in-law, right? He'll play a game, and I don't know how he enjoys it, because he'll get a game. I'm going to use Battle Chasers as an example, and he's like instantly looking up the best build to play the game or something similar to that. And I tell him all the time, like, how do you enjoy a game when you do that? If you're just looking for like the most overpowered thing to play the game, like how do you enjoy something like that? For me, it's the experience in discovery is an important thing, and looking things up. If you're stuck, it's perfect. If you're stuck in something, but if you're just looking for it to have the best build or to have the best weapon or whatever, it definitely ruins the experience. And I'm not gonna lie, like sit on my heart. I have done that, okay, but it ruins this modern convenience has ruined modern RPG playing, I think.
Well, don't you think that it's a little strange though that I feel like RPGs are easier now than they used to be, but yet it is the age where we could look everything up, because I feel like so many RPGs are scared of confusing and or letting people be lost, whereas like I've been going back and playing a lot of older stuff, whereas like it didn't give a rip if you missed that one line from that NPC that told you the direction to go next. You were just toast. Like you'd have to go back and talk to everybody.
Right.
But now we put the green arrow exactly where you're supposed to go.
Right.
But it's the age of information where, you could just follow a guide. I just think that that's very interesting that game development has gone toward giving you more information than ever when we now have access to whatever we want at our fingertips, that we could look it up if we got stuck. So that's interesting how you would think it would be the other way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
And it kind of that's kind of why I like Dark Souls so much, because it really, I mean, granted, yes, you could follow a guide on YouTube, you could follow a guide, reading a guide onto where all the secret weapons are and all that stuff, but it pushes back so much and it makes things so difficult. Where, for example, if you kill an NPC, which you can, you will lose out on a specific item. There are those things that it's one of those things where if you discover that, oh no, I just killed this guy and I really needed him. I love that. I love that so much, and it kind of missed that a little bit.
Yeah, because that's something that over time, like Bethesda has walked back from, because you could break your Morrowind game for killing the wrong NPC. But now Skyrim and they've taken a fair amount of criticism for quote unquote watering down their games, because now you'll just wound an NPC. You have those that can't be killed if they are linked to quest lines and things like that. But yeah, and once again, I just think it's interesting, and maybe that is the reason why things have gotten easier, and developers have been giving us, here's exactly where the quest is, because they know that we can look it up anyway. So why not just give it to us? I don't know. But yeah, at least we do have some of those developers that are developing in sort of that classic format where it's like, have fun with this, because this is just going to be brutally hard and obtuse. Or hard to find. Hard to find. Those games are hard to find.
Yeah, not many.
All right.
Sorry, I'm old. I'm
Gio,
old. I can't help it.
Gio, you got any final thoughts on this episode?
Final thoughts. No, I mean follow up on YouTube. If you wouldn't mind. I'm gonna be releasing on a schedule Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'd like to try and find something else to play. I am thinking of something similar to what we do here on the podcast, like a side quest, maybe something totally not RPG related, or maybe not a Nintendo Switch game. So I am looking for some suggestions. Also, I'm new at this, so if you have any, again, some suggestions on what I do during my recordings, please let me know. I accept all criticisms. I am your pincushion.
And if you want to see this happen, then just please show us your support on Twitter. If you would like to see Gio and I do a screen-by-screen playthrough of Super Mario 64, then just let us know on Twitter. That'd be great, and I'll be looking forward to that.
I will do it for charity.
Okay, that's where he draws the line. All right, now as we wrap up the episode, we do want to thank Sarah, a user from our Discord, once again for the amazing remix battle theme for Octopath Traveler that we're using as our outro. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that, stick around for the rest of the track because it's amazing. And then also you can check out the YouTube channel. The link is in the description. A lot of great stuff. They just released the Primrose remix, which I think is my favorite. It is very orchestral. Some of the others have been like synthy and like big. This one is just like straight orchestral. It is moving. I might have cried. I'll say that. I might have cried listening to it. So anyway.
She's also, if you're playing the game, I think she has one of the better stories. In my opinion.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, I like her story the best.
Tough, rough.
It is. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up episode 17 of the Switch RPG podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to everyone who sent their questions and comments. Keep them coming by emailing podcast@switchrpg.com or posting in our podcast channel, as we said earlier. Remember, you can listen to the show each and every Wednesday.
And watch.
You can listen and watch the show each and every Wednesday at switchrpg.com. You can sub on your favorite podcasting app, and you can also watch at youtube.switchrpg.com. So if you do listen on an app, we do once again want to ask that you rate and review us if you would like. That'd be amazing. And if you give us 5-star, we'll read it on the show. That'd be awesome. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, because you can see our faces now, then consider heading over to patreon.com/switchrpg and throw us $1 or $2 if you can spare it. If not, we totally understand, and that is totally okay. You just being around, commenting on our stuff, watching us, listening to us, and interacting with us is the best thing in the world. So that's what we love. And finally, remember, you can head over to the website that started this all, switchrpg.com, for all of your RPG needs on the Nintendo Switch platform. Until next time, I'll see you around.
Happy birthday, Elijah. I'm tired.